You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit in current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We want to chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. And let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
Quiet. Numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
Well, I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan or plan to save you money. I personally work with you, even if you don't have any needs today. Save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And yes, we're celebrating today. It is National Bean Day. I don't know if you celebrate that one, though. I mean, I guess it depends on your digestive system. Some people are not too excited when there's beans around. And National Shortbread Day. This is early in the year. Those look like pretzels. Okay. Something national. And again, if you're wondering what I'm talking about, we do record live each morning on all of our social channels. So if you're listening to us on AM 1490, FM 98.1 on the ABC News and Talk Network, now you're not seeing what I'm talking about. If you're on their video stream, you're seeing it. But Shortbread Day and National Bean Day. This is the first of the year, the beginning of the year, first broadcast of the year, first Monday of the year. We should have something a little more exciting than Shortbread Day or Bean Day. Well, like exciting. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is up 352 points. The S&P 500 is up 72. The NASDAQ is up 344. Oil up 28 cents a barrel. Do we want to look? It's been a few days. California gasoline prices, $438.2. $438.2. Yes, our state does like to give as much in the way of pricing as we can, or taxes as we can. So we're at 438.
Ow!
National average 306. And I think other than California and maybe Hawaii, probably the only states in the union with gasoline prices over $4 a gallon. Thank you, Governor Newsom and the legislature. And I should throw in there for good cause, the people of the state of California. Because if you're not happy with gas prices, stop voting for the people you vote for. A year ago, though, we were at 468, so I guess we're a little bit better than that. The national average is interesting enough. The national average today is 306. Last year, this date was 308. So the national average, while it's gone up and down, it's still basically the same. California is a little bit cheaper than what it was, but we still get to deal with our state. And, we look at the mortgage prices and the bond market. Bond market hasn't done too well. We're going to talk about that in the next segment. We're going to talk a lot about where interest rates are, why they are where they are. We'll get into all of that. What else is going on in the world? How about, unfortunately, the U.S. getting laughed at again? So I am not a soccer player. I don't know. Maybe, I think a lot of the little ones play more soccer than football. When I was a little one, we didn't play soccer at all. I'm sure it was there, but, it was football, which I didn't play much football. And you had Little League was the big sport. I mean, I think they might have had some basketball things, but Little League and maybe Pop Warner was around. Soccer wasn't around. But I guess the best player or the most popular player in soccer is Lionel Messi. Lionel Messi. Why do I bring that up? Well, and is a great disrespect to the United States, although maybe our president earned the disrespect, but Lionel Messi was awarded the Presidential Freedom of Honor, Medal of Honor yesterday. And, you know, they have a big ceremony and the president has all these people come. And Messi didn't send a representative, didn't care. Now, who did show? You know something? I think I could probably tell you this, but
I got a bad feeling about this.
Hillary Clinton. She was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom. George Soros. Now, whether you like Clinton or not, she did say something about election deniers. I think she was the first of the big election deniers, along with the governor in Georgia. But, you know, you got to wonder about some of these people. George Soros, he's the one that funded all of these district attorneys who have let as many criminals out on the streets as we've got. He was the person behind George Gascon. If you like George Gascon, you probably like the idea of George Soros. But my point is, when you give this medal to everybody that you can, and some people don't even care about it, well, it doesn't have as much meaning. Maybe that's what the sign is from this president. Thankfully, we are on countdown. There are only 2 weeks left of this presidency. Thankfully, we will get somebody that might be awake. He might even know what's going on. Coming back into office, whether you like Trump or not, that's your prerogative. You gotta look at the policies, though, and our policies were better under his presidency. Look at where the 10-year Treasury is right now, 4.612. And again, when we come back, I'm going to tell you exactly what that means to you. Why is that important to you? We're going to get into that. We're going to also talk. I had a conversation over the weekend about, you know, it's unfortunate that in many instances our schools are not teaching some of the things that are really basic. When you have a new family, you got a lot of things going on in your world. Today we're going to talk about the 401k ruse, buying the first home, 529 plans, again, another ruse. And we're going to talk about types of life insurance. Maybe you need it, maybe you don't. We're going to talk about all of that and more. We're going to also talk about New Year, new home, how to make it happen in 2025, all that and more. Reach me anytime. Our off-air number, it's 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
Confused about the home buying process? Or curious how much you really know about buying a home? Take the First Home IQ quiz to test your understanding of buying a home. Created by the nonprofit First Home IQ, this 5-minute quiz will give you a score, what you missed, and why. Take the quiz in 5 minutes at rsrlinks.com/FHIQ and find out what you need to know about buying your first home. That's rsrlinks.com/FHIQ.
Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you can retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less, all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now? Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis. rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com.
Are you paying rent because you cannot afford to live in your dream home? Are you paying rent because you don't believe you have the down payment funds to purchase your own home? At Siegel Lending Team at ronismylender.com has up to $25,000 to help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. Contact the Siegel Lending Team today at ronismylender.com. Again, ronismylender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037. ronismylender.com.
Homeowners over the age of 62 are taking back financial control after retirement with reverse mortgages, and the Siegel Lending Team is here to help you use it to your advantage. Call Ron Siegel with Geneva Financial to receive your free information booklet with no obligation. The booklet answers all your questions, and the best part is, you still own your home. Call Ron Siegel at 1-800-306-1990 or visit ronsiegelradio.com.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference in the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. ronismylender.com. Again, ronismylender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Let's take a look and see every day at this time. OBMMI, they provide the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry. Calculated from actual locked rates with consumers across 35% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. They don't tell us points paid, points received, or the APR. They only tell us the number you need to put into your mortgage calculator in order to find out what your principal and interest payment will be. Conventional. These are the numbers that locked on, is this Friday, Josh? On the 3rd of January, Friday. Conventional, 30-year fixed, up 6.90. Jumbo, 30-year fixed, up 7.079. FHA, 30-year fixed, down 6.537. VA, 30-year fixed, up 6.493. USDA, 30-year fixed, up 6.583. That's the rural areas, generally no down payment. If you want our market commentary each and every business morning as early as the data allows, rsrlinks.com/market minute, rsrlinks.com/market minute. Let's take a look and see what the markets are doing today. The S&P 500 is now up 70.71, 70.71. And we're looking at mortgage-backed security. I'm sorry, let's look at the 10-year Treasury right now. That's at 4.61. That is up. And we're looking at the mortgage-backed security, 3 basis points up. Remember, when we look at the mortgage-backed security, that's the bond price. When the bond price goes up, that means the interest rates are going to go down and vice versa. And it's so close. we're waiting a lot. A lot of it's just going to be dependent on what the data comes out. We get technicals that are good when there's no data. But this week we're getting lots and lots of data, and we're going to be talking about that as the week progresses. We got the Treasury is issuing $119 billion in new debt this week, which is a lot of additional Treasury supply. Supply up, prices down, interest up. $39 billion in 10-year notes, $22 billion in 30-year bonds. The level of demand for Treasuries at auction can be important for rates. We also, being that this is the start of the new year, there is a rotation of voting members of the Fed. The Fed rotation is upon us. 4 of the regional voting presidents rotate out. 4 new ones rotate in. The way they lean, hawkish or dovish, will be important and will influence how they vote for monetary policy and interest rates. 4 presidents that no longer will be voting. Richmond Fed President Thomas Barkin, he was a hawk. Atlanta Fed President Raphael Bostic, a hawk. San Francisco Fed President Mary Daly, a hawk. Cleveland Fed President Beth Hammock, a hawk. The new voting presidents, Austin Goolsbee, very, very dovish. He's from Chicago. The Boston Fed President Susan Collins, hawk. St. Louis President Albert Musalem, a hawk. Kansas City Fed President Jeffrey Schmidt, a hawk. So we've got 4 hawks out, 1 dove and 3 hawks in. So we're just getting 1 additional dove is the net change. And again, he's probably the most dovish Fed member and is in favor of cutting rates several times this year. Over the weekend, Fed Governor Adriana Kugler and San Francisco Fed President Mary Daly spoke together. They acknowledged that they know they have not reached their inflation goal and that no one is popping champagne anywhere. But they also were clear that they want the unemployment rate to stay where it is, and they do not want to see further slowing, which makes this week's jobs data critical. We got all kinds of jobs data coming out this week. Fed Governor Cook spoke this morning and said that price increases have cooled, but there is more to go on inflation. He also said it's likely appropriate to move to a more neutral stance, but that the Fed can afford to proceed more cautiously, with inflation being stickier and the labor market being stronger than previously thought. So let's talk about this. What is going on with these numbers? And we're going to have an extended mortgage minute today because it's all about the mortgages. Where do we see mortgage rates going and why? So we thought the rates would come down last year, and they did for about a week in September. That's why we've been so persistent in asking you, what's your number? rsrlinks.com/what's your number. And why do I ask that? What does that mean? We ask you what's your number because we want to know what it would take to make you happier, what it would be help to benefit in your lifestyle. What would the number be to say in money savings? So we say rsrlinks.com/what's your number. We get your entire file put together based on triggering that number, not an interest rate, because you can't do anything with an interest rate. I've shared before the highest interest rate loan that we have. That would be the Home Select loan. Highest interest rate, lowest interest expense. So why do you care about the rate if the expense is low? You don't. So I digress. Let's get back to this. You got to know what your number is for this to understand, because in September, like I say, we had a very short window that a lot of people were able to save money, but then rates went back up again. Why? Well, if you think about this, a couple of years ago, when coming out of COVID, we had the government was sending out so much money. People were spending it. What is inflation? Too much money chasing too few goods. The supply just wasn't there. So there was so much money going out after these goods, prices went up. Well, the Federal Reserve got it all wrong. And I've shared this with you, no matter how many people want to fight with me over it. I still say it. I will continue to say it. The Federal Reserve really got it all.
Such an idiot.
Yes.
Such an idiot.
They said inflation is transitory. What does transitory mean? Well, it means that they thought that the inflation was going to be short-term and reverse itself right away. Well, it wasn't transitory. It continued to grow. And we got all the way up to, I think, like 9 or 10% inflation. Well, what does the Federal Reserve have to do? They thought it was transitory, so they did nothing. At that time, they should have increased interest rates a little bit, so they didn't have to increase interest rates down the road a lot. Well, being that they did nothing, the interest rates, the inflation kept going up, and we kept seeing higher prices. You probably felt that at the grocery store. You felt that anywhere you go on things that are necessities. We had to keep buying more. So we look and say, okay, retail sales are up, but are they really? Or is it just that the money we're spending for the goods is up and we can't buy as much as we need? Yeah, people are struggling. But in the meantime, we didn't get the increase in unemployment because the Bureau of Labor Statistics was giving us bad data. Not my opinion. That's been numbers that have been proven by what they've come out and said since then. In all of their revisions, the revisions have shown that the data that they were giving us wasn't good data. Was it manipulated? I don't know. Or was their methodology bad? Who knows? The bottom line is they kept telling us that employment was strong. You and I both know different, but we're still seeing unemployment at a healthy number. And thus, the Federal Reserve had to start increasing interest rates dramatically. And if you heard people say, date the house, date the rate and buy the mortgage, or date the whatever the dumb thing was, they were basically saying you can buy the house or marry the house and date the rate. Buy the house, and down the road you'll worry about lowering the interest rate. How'd that work out for you? Well, there's a lot of people with very high interest rates right now, and they might be struggling, but they did get some good appreciation. And Chapman University last month said they anticipate property values might decline a little bit in Southern California this year. I don't know how, because we still don't have enough supply, but they didn't have a question and answer period that I could get that into. So that was the issue right there. So we still have high interest rates. When will interest rates come down? Well, when we start seeing the inflation moderate, which it has, but the Federal Reserve's got this arbitrary idea that they want to have their PCE inflation, the personal consumption expenditure, at 2%. Well, if you just take out a couple of numbers, it's way below 2%, but they're looking at the overall number, so they're saying we haven't got there yet. They also want to make sure we maximize employment. Well, until they start seeing that people are hurting through the data, which the Federal Reserve is even realizing that the Bureau of Labor Statistics data is not all that reliable. And how do we know that? Well, in their commentary, they said they're using the Beige Book. What is the Beige Book? That's when the 12 different districts of the Federal Reserve go out and talk to people in their areas and see, what are you seeing? Are you hiring or not hiring? Are there more jobs or not more jobs? Well, when they look at that, they see that the labor market is not nearly as strong as what the Bureau of Labor Statistics says it is. So the bottom line here is that until they see that the labor market is not strong and inflation comes down, they're not going to really lower interest rates. And in many instances, like they did in December, they lowered the interest rate, but mortgage rates went up. Not a good sign for us. We want to see mortgage rates go down. And once that happens, then what's going to be the case is we're going to get a lot of people coming back into the market to start buying again. And that's going to be a lot of what we talk about today, especially if you're a young family. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, the 401k ruse, we're going to talk about it. Why I don't believe you should ever get a 529 plan. Buying your first home, insurance, universal life, also known as whole life, term insurance. We'll talk about that. And new year, new home, how to make it happen in 2025, all that and more. Reach me anytime. Off air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Are you a renter and tired of making monthly payments? Paying off someone else's mortgage? Hey, it's Ron Siegel here to help you stop renting and start owning your dream home with amazing low interest rates. And you could potentially qualify for a $500,000 home for less than $5,000 out of pocket. So stop renting. Start owning with Ron Siegel. Learn more at ronsiegelradio.com and start owning today. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Do you believe Southern California real estate is a great investment? Are you a little short to be a cash investor? Are you missing the Social Security card or tax returns? The Siegel Lending Team has the loans for you. Common Sense Lending is back. Yes, there's a cost to higher risk, but the reward can be great. Call today for details. 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 217037 and DRE number 1869452.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Do you own a luxury home or planning to purchase one? If so, your home may be your largest asset, but your mortgage may also be your largest debt. The Siegel Lending Team is offering amazing financing opportunities right now. Jumbo loans up to $2 million, 30-year rates in the 3%, and 15-year rates in the 2s. Learn more at ronsiegelradio.com or call me directly. My number is 800-306-1990, licensed under NMLS 217037. Equal Housing Lender.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037 and DRE number 018694552.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Confused about the home buying process? Or curious how much you really know about buying a home? Take the first Home IQ quiz to test your understanding of buying a home. Created by the nonprofit First Home IQ, this 5-minute quiz will give you a score, what you missed, and why. Take the quiz in 5 minutes at rsrlinks.com/FHIQ and find out what you need to know about buying your first home. That's rsrlinks.com/FHIQ.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions, as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio, or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. New year, new home, how to make it happen in 2025. This is the time when a lot of people take a moment to reflect and set their goals for this year. And as you picture what you want your 2025 to look like, one thing that may pop into your mind is the vision of you in a new home. But how do you get there, and where do you start? Here's some advice that can help you get the ball rolling. Focus on your why. To lay the foundation, you need to focus on your why. While the dollars and cents are important, so is the driving force behind your desire to move. Maybe you need more space for a growing family. Want to sell so you can downsize, or are finally ready to buy your first home. Whatever the reason, it's important to keep it in front and center. Your why is what helps you stay focused. Share your motivation with your agent, and they'll use their expertise to help support that goal. No matter what the market looks like, with a great agent by your side, you'll have someone to guide you, problem solve, and keep you moving forward until you can check that off your to-do list. Get clear on what you need. Then it's time to figure out what your next home needs to have. How many bedrooms do you need? If you don't have a designated home office, is that a deal breaker? What about a big fenced-in yard? Knowing your must-haves and nice-to-haves makes the search a lot smoother. Since affordability is still tight, it's important to have a clear idea of your essential items up front. Maybe you can flex a bit on location if it's got everything else you're looking for. Go over those essential items with your agent, and they'll help you focus on the homes that check the boxes that matter most while staying within your price range. Know your numbers before you jump in. Take a look at your finances. How much have you saved? What monthly payment feels comfortable? Getting clear on your budget early will help you know what's possible. The best way to do this is by partnering with trusted real estate professionals like a local agent and a lender. They'll help you. They'll plan for a down payment, look into what down payment assistance programs, understand the equity you have in your current home and how you can use it to fuel your next move if you're selling, and getting pre-approved for a mortgage so you know what you can borrow. Lean on a pro to guide you. It can be hard to know where to start, but you don't have to do it alone. A real estate agent knows what you need to do to get ready to buy and sell, how to navigate the process, and can answer your questions every step of the way. As Bankrate puts it, quote, now more than ever, it's smart to lean on the guidance of an exceptional local real estate agent. If you want to enter the housing market in 2025, whether as a buyer or seller, let a pro lead the way. Unquote. Remember, you're buying or selling is a big milestone and a great goal for this year. With the right expert on your team, you'll feel confident, ready to take on the market. Bottom line, if buying or selling a home is part of your goals for 2025, now's the time to get started. Focused on why, on your why, know what you need, and connect with trusted pros to make it happen. Let's team up. Give me a call. We've got books or pamphlets on buying. If you want to know about buying a house, rsrlinks.com/HBG. rsrlinks.com/ I think it's HBGQ. rsrlinks.com/HBG. So we've got that one for you. We've got another book on buying. Even if you're not ready right now, we've got a booklet on buying. So that's a good one. We've got our 2025 Home Buyer's Guide. rsrlinks.com/HBG2025. rsrlinks.com/HBG2025. That's the Real-Time Real Estate segment brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. So let's talk a little bit more about that buying the first home. Well, you got to know what you want and where you want. And one of the big issues is understanding, what does it take to buy that first home? Well, there are programs out there. 3%, 3.5% down payment is all you need. So don't get into this mindset that you can't buy a house until you have 20% down. Again, 3 to 3.5% is all you need. Now, you want to retire in 25 years or 20 years? And I don't care how old you are. Maybe you're 22 years old buying your first house. Great. By the time you're 47, we can show you how to retire. It's a simple plan. You buy the first house, whatever you can afford to get into the game. Put the minimum down. Save money. Live in the property. You might even want to rent out a bedroom or two if you're married or not. If you're not married and can afford that and have the space. Then, as soon as you have enough money to buy your next house, you buy the next one, keep the first one, rent it out. And over time, remember, we're always watching what's your number, rsrlinks.com/what's your number. So we're always monitoring that to see when we can lower your mortgage payment. And we're going to just take out whatever equity we can, when it makes sense, and we're going to lower your mortgage payment. And remember, rentals continue to increase. So you've had that first house 3, 4, 5 years down the road. You're buying the second house, keeping the first one. You're building equity. Now in that first one, as you rent it, somebody else is making the payment. Good for you. You bought another one for you to live in. Again, 3 or 3.5% down. Veterans, you might have a better answer. USDA might be a better answer for you as well. We look into all of that. And you keep doing that every 3 to 5 years. You're taking equity out, buying new properties, keeping more and more money into the emergency fund. Where do you store the emergency fund? We're going to talk about that in a minute. But you're keeping more and more money into your emergency fund. That way, if you've got vacancies, you're not stressed because you got enough money into the emergency funds. And you continue doing that. By the time you're 25 years or 20 years down the road, you've done this 4 or 5 times, but the early properties are starting to have lower and lower payments on them because every time you do it, you're reducing the payment and you're increasing the rents. Payments going down, rents going up. There's a delta there. You're putting more and more of that money into your safe, secure investments, which we're going to talk about. And I don't give investment advice. I'm not licensed to do that any longer, but I'm going to give you some ideas of what I would do. You might want to do the same thing and talk to a financial advisor or give me a call at 800-306-1990 because I can put you in touch with financial advisors that understand this. Keep on doing that. By the time you get 25 years down the line, you're in the home of your dreams because you've bought 4 previous, somebody else making the payment on those, and your funds are growing, and you're going to start paying off properties. Or you'll have a check big enough that you could pay off the properties if you want to. So there's just the idea that's buying the first home. Now, 401k ruse. Why it is just a deceitful product. So there are uses for the 401k. Very few. What's the goal of the 401k? It's for you to, if you're disciplined. Now, all these things require discipline. But if you're disciplined, the 401k is a ruse. What is their goal? You're going to put money into that. You're going to save money on a tax-deferred basis, pre-tax. It's not tax-free. It's pre-tax. So you put the money in there. And let's just say you put $1,000 into your 401k and you didn't pay taxes on it. It's going to grow over time. Let's say if you did really, really well, it's going to get to $10,000. Now, if you're in the 30% tax bracket on $1,000, you're paying $300 in taxes. If it's worth $10,000, now you get to pay $3,000 in taxes. Who makes more money there, the government or you? Now, what if we take that same money? Now, there is the one good place that you want to take on the 401k is if there's a company match. So I know one individual that I consulted, their company gives them 75 cents on the dollar. Okay, but it's limited to 4%. So I say, okay, put 4% into the 401k, so that you get the extra 75 cents for every dollar. Just a way of thinking about it. It's going to grow. Now, if you've got years where you're not making as much money, you might want to talk to your tax people and see if it's wise, and your financial people, to see if it's wise for you to convert that into a Roth IRA if you qualify. But we're digressing. We're getting too far down the weeds. These are all questions we can have if we have a chance to chat. Now, the other one that we talk about is a 529 plan. Okay, again, deferred. You're putting money into the 529. The idea is that it grows with a tax-deferred basis. But the thing that most people don't realize is the 529 plan is money that you still control. Yes, you may have it set aside for your kids, and you might have their name on it, but it's for designated uses. And again, I don't give financial advice. You got to talk to your financial advisors who understand what I'm about to tell you, because most of them don't. Most financial advisors deal with assets. They're not dealing with college funding. College funding goes through something called the FAFSA form, FAFSA. The FAFSA form looks at your assets and determines how much money your family should be contributing to the child's education, and how much money they qualify for government grants, government aid, scholarships. Well, the 529 counts against you when we come to looking at financial aid. Most people don't know that part of it. Most financial advisors don't specialize in college financial planning. So they don't understand it. They say, put money in the 529 plan, watch it grow. And then when it comes time, oh, sorry, I didn't know that now you don't qualify for certain types of grants and financial aid because you have too much money. What's the better way? I'm going to tell you that when we come back. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. The alternative to the 529 plan, we'll talk about it. The alternative to the 401k, we'll talk about that. Types of insurance, we're going to talk about that as well. You can reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
Confused about the home buying process? Or curious how much you really know about buying a home? Take the first Home IQ quiz to test your understanding of buying a home. Created by the nonprofit First Home IQ, this 5-minute quiz will give you a score, what you missed, and why. Take the quiz in 5 minutes at rsrlinks.com/FHIQ and find out what you need to know about buying your first home. That's rsrlinks.com/FHIQ.
Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you can retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less, all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now? Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis, rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio. Or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Continuing our conversation, we are chatting about, just understanding when you're first getting started. We've got the goals and objectives and things that are important. And I had a conversation over the weekend, and we're talking about the idea of buying the first house and 401k contributions and 529 plans, insurance. So I told you the 401k is a ruse, my opinion. And you should only put in there the exact amount that your company will match, nothing more. The idea here being that there are better places to put your money for savings in all the same ideas. Now, the only area here is you're paying the taxes up front. But what if you didn't have to pay tax on the growth? You didn't have to pay tax when you use it. Oh yeah, the 401k, I got to pay taxes when I use it. Well, maybe you don't have to if you do these things the right way. And again, I am not giving financial advice. I am telling you things that I recommend that I would be doing, my family. And you need to talk to a consultant or give me a call and I'll put you in touch with one who understands the things I'm talking about, and we can do a joint call. So what do I think is a better idea for me? I like the Index Universal Life Insurance policy. Low death benefit, high cash value. What does that mean? Well, what we want to do is our whole goal here is to build cash value as much as we can. Cash value. That's kind of like a 401k. It's got value in there. But the idea here is you're putting this money into and now, again, not tax advice. There are ways you can get that money and do it without in a pre-tax way. And again, you got to strategize on it. I'm not going to give you the tax advice here, but there are ways to do it. The experts understand that. But here's the idea. You're putting money into the Index Universal Life. There are programs out there that'll get you 2 to 13% return on your money. They have riders on there so that you don't lose money ever. Well, you can't say it's guaranteed because only treasuries can be called guaranteed, but they're pretty close. So let's keep on going. You get a minimum of 2% is your guarantee. You're capped at 13%. Well, the S&P 500, I think I looked it up this last year, got 25.2%, so you wouldn't get all of it. But if you can never lose, if you can be protected on the downside, you're better off. So the money goes in there over time, just like you're doing for the 401k. Say you said, okay, I want to do 2%. You were doing a 4% match that I mentioned last time, and you wanted to do 6%. So the other 2% you put into the Index Universal Life policy every single month and just have it go there automatically. Set it up. It's going to grow over time. Now, when the time comes that you're ready to retire, you're going to have money there, but you don't withdraw the money. You borrow the money. When you borrow the money, talk to your tax advisor. Borrowed money generally is not a taxable event. What do you think about that one? That's the better way, in my opinion, for me to save for retirement is through the Index Universal Life policy. Check it out. Again, give me a call if you don't understand it. If you don't have somebody that understands it, I can put you in touch with the folks that do. Now, if you are a young family, generally one of the parties is going to earn more money than the other party. No problem. Doesn't matter which party it is, but you need to protect for it. Indexed universal life or whole life policies or universal life policies versus term life policy. What's the difference? Well, term life is a rental. You're renting the policy for a period of time. You make payments for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, whatever it is, and you have life insurance for that period of time. It is the cheaper way to go, but at the end, you've got nothing to show except rent receipts. So the term policy, there are uses for it. Some people like to use that to pay off their mortgage. So that way, if the insured dies, the mortgage gets paid off for their spouse or for their heirs. Not a bad use for it. There is also mortgage insurance policies, mortgage life insurance, not to be confused with mortgage insurance, but mortgage life. The amount of the insurance decreases over time as the mortgage decreases. Another use for it. Or you can go with whole life policies. These are a little bit more money, but you've got something to show for it. You're going to pay for it. And what ends up happening is if it's set up properly and you talk to a good insurance agent that, again, understands these things, you're going to pay the insurance for a period of time, and then the cash value will continue to make payments for you. Now, one of the things that you want to be doing is as you get up in age, Tell your parents this if they're talking to you about any of these things. You may want to have a consultation with a insurance advisor or financial advisor and find out, is that universal life policy is that whole life policy good for you? Is it still meeting your needs? You need it for a specific need. Because over time, what happens is when you're young and get this, it's building cash value because the insurance or the death benefit is low. The likelihood of a 20-year-old passing is far less than an 80-year-old passing. So the death benefit, the cost of the death benefit is low, but it increases over time. Now, your payment may not increase over time because it's kind of like reverse amortization of your mortgage. You're flipping. More money at the beginning is going into the cash value because they know at the end or later years, you're going to need more for the insurance portion. So you might look before you get to the later years and have your insurance agent look at it and say, are we better off cashing this out and putting it somewhere else or doing something different with it? Case is, it could be yes, it could be no. I don't know your situation. And since I'm no longer licensed in this area, it's not a tough license to get. I had it, but I wasn't using it, so I let it lapse. Talk to a insurance professional, and they'll be able to go over that with you and see what makes sense for you and your family as to what do you need. Now, the numbers change from time to time, but the bottom line is you're usually looking, what they talk about is 5 years worth of salary is what you need in insurance. And I can put you in touch with our friend Todd Halterman or Ron Burkhardt or several others that deal in this area that talk about insurance. Put you in touch with financial advisors. Stephen Stakely does a great job in that. Put you in touch with all these different people who handle all these things in looking at doing a full deep dive in your situation. The deep dive is what says, okay, let's set up a plan. And as you know, I am a certified liability advisor, and our goal is to build wealth through better debt management. Most of the financial advisors or insurance agents, they handle the flip side. They're handling insurance, they're handling investments, they're handling mutual funds, they might handle annuities. There's places for everything. The bottom line here is use the right program for the right situation. Again, as a certified liability advisor, I'm dealing with your debts. I deal with your real estate, things that a lot of these other folks are not really dealing with, but you can get involved with that because you need to. They're the areas where you're going to build your most wealth. I used to be licensed at Merrill Lynch. I've talked about this on the broadcast before. Why did I switch? Well, more people wanted to get into debt than had assets. We don't want to save in this country. That's not what we do. Our whole goal is, what can I afford today? What are my payments? So when you look at a house, most people, what's the interest rate? My comment is, what's the difference? Do you want me to give you a 4.5 rate or an 8 rate? I can give you both. Does it make sense? Well, I don't know what makes sense for your situation. I'll show you all of them. And then we talk about it from the standpoint of debt management. What are your goals and objectives? What are you trying to accomplish? If you're going to be there a short period of time, buying down the rate doesn't make sense. I spoke with somebody this last week, and they got one of these dumb letters in the mail that said that they could refinance into, I think, a 4.74% loan, but it had like a 5.3 APR. What does that mean? Well, that means you're spending a lot of money up front. It means when they put those big letters out there, the whole goal is to get you to call and then bait and switch. They're going to change you into something that's more realistic. Can they offer that to you? Yes. Should they offer that to you? Maybe. But the bottom line is that was their first time. That letter that came in the mail like that was the very first time that they tried to deceive you. Again, my opinion, because the fine print said that you're going to have, in this particular situation, almost $10,000 in fees. If you're going to be there long term, that might make sense. If it's short term, because it's dealing with interest rates and refinancing. We anticipate it'll be short term. Well, then you look at it and say, okay, it probably doesn't make sense. But you got to understand what you're being offered, what you're being shared with. So if you want to talk about these things, give me a call at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And as always, I ask, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Josh and Sean who are engineering us today. And of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.